Hi, this is Pam, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and welcome to my back garden, also known as my secret garden. And I am sharing this with you. We're at the end of November, we're going into winter, and I am revamping this whole back garden from what it was. I'll post a little clip of a video right here, right now, and you can see what it was like in the summer. And now my plans for this garden, and why I want to share it with you now, is because I want you to see the difference between how it was when I started and what it's going to look like next summer when it's starting to fill in. Now I've taken out the roses along the back fence because I want to put something up there that is more evergreen and provides winter interest here, and or there's a DIY project that I'm going to put along the fence. This centerpiece is the main focal point of this garden, and I'm going to have pathways out on the four north, south, east, west sides of this. And there's going to be, I don't know if it's stepping stones yet or if I'm going to do something more permanent like gravel. I just know I'm going to divide this back area up into quadrants and then plant them. I am going to move a bunch of plants, like there's my purple rooster that did so well last summer. Forgive my chicken. And I don't know how I'm going to replace some roses because they were eaten by voles very badly. I have a few left. I'm trying to keep deterrent around them so that they don't get eaten. Let me turn the camera towards the back of the garden. I don't know, my neighbor's roof puts up a lot of glare, so sometimes it's hard to see. I'm really enjoying the birds flying around out here. They're really loving this water feature here, as well as I have a water dish over there with a food dish. And I've got mountain chickadees and finches, and I have robins coming in. So put out some food and water and you'll get a lot of birds, a lot of wildlife. This rose right here is going to go, because this is where the pathway, it's going to be moved. This is eglantine. This is, I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right, a David Austin rose. And let me show you some more. Now along here, along the back fence, you'll see a black fabric pot. That is star jasmine. And I wanted to climb the fence and provide a backdrop. I didn't put it in the ground because I wasn't sure of the voles this winter. It seems they really eat a lot of stuff in the winter, and I'm hoping that it being in the pot will keep them from eating it. They could chew through that fabric. I don't know. I haven't had them do that yet, but also I wasn't sure that's for its forever home. So I thought I would just give it a start there, see how I liked it. The two bamboo next to it, those were the plants I divided. It was in one pot, divided it and put it into two. I absolutely love bamboo. I have it on my deck all summer long. It provides like a tropical vibe that I enjoy, and it's just a nice lush green plant that is very hardy here. We are zone 8, but our microclimate acts more like a zone 7. These take snow, freezing temperatures. I've had no issues with them, and they even took the dividing very well. It never got any yellowing of the leaves, no dieback, nothing. So they should fill in even more. I put them back here. I wanted a little bit of a visual backdrop until I get other things planted back here. Plus, I have plenty on my deck, and this was just a good spot for these. I may move them around this coming summer. Now let's get a little bit closer and another angle. Now we're facing towards the vegetable garden area. And you can see right here to the left, that's where those bamboos are. So here's a pathway through here. It's just boards laying on the ground, slabs. I've used them for a couple years as my pathway. You see it's getting overgrown by the Jupiter's beard there and some other plants, but that's all coming out because I want this back area to be a little bit wider, and I'm going to have a little bit wider path on this section, and I'm going to have it curve around the back there. I have foxgloves that have seeded this year, and they're going to be beautiful in spring. Let me move up a little bit. And back in that corner is cleome and delphiniums. They're very tall plants, and they do beautifully here. You can see the bare area right here to the left is where I took out the roses, and there's some irises there that I need to clean up and divide a little bit, but they do beautifully. They bloom in spring before anything else, and that's why I love having them, because they're that spark of color. I get kind of a late start in spring because our winter goes right on into May. Last year, our last snow was on May 31st, and so that's just how spring weather is in the mountains. And even though zone 8 sounds like it should be a very warm zone, that can be deceiving. Zoning, you really got to watch your own weather patterns, because my neighbors, I shouldn't say neighbors, my friends that live probably 10 miles down the road are in the same zone, but they could grow plants that I can't. Like, they could grow olive, they grow citrus, they grow all kinds of things I could not grow here at all. So zoning can be relative. Always remember that when you find out your zone. Ask local gardeners what they can and cannot grow, and you'll get more of a feel of what you actually can do rather than going by zoning alone. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go to that corner over there and look back the other way. Now you can see this wood pathway. We're right in the corner. And this wood pathway here, I've used just an old board again. These were just temporary until I figured out what I wanted to do back here. I've been kind of jostling what was going to go on back here. And I think I finally have a good plan. And now I'm ready to implement it. So as I pan towards this direction, you can see past, here's my Livia Austin rose, the one that's still in the ground. The other two I did dig up. They were eaten by the voles. Right behind it is my water feature with the planter that I did a video on. That's a fire ring that I got at Tractor Supply, and put the water tub on top. That has been a very popular feature all summer with the hummingbirds, and now all the other birds are really liking having the water there. I'm going to go around, and we're going to be facing back towards the studio here in a moment. Well, let me just do one thing first. I want to show you what I have growing along this area that is staying. I have a Hyde Hall rose right there. That's the same variety as the ones I took out along the back fence. This one gets to stay because it's doing well here, and so far the voles have left it alone. I'm still putting out deterrent. Next to it is my iceberg climbing rose, and this is the first year it's been in the ground, so it's just getting established, and I can't wait for it to cover this obelisk arbor that we built. And I have a whole tutorial on the website on how to create one of these. They're relatively inexpensive. It's made just with regular lumber and then painted. This pathway goes down to the vegetable garden, which is also being revamped. I have to I have to pull up those raised beds and put wire underneath them because the voles came up from underneath and ate my vegetables. And because I had not put wire underneath. I'd never had voles before. I've gardened here 20 years. And this was the first year that I had an issue with those nasty little plant-eating critters. So here we're facing back towards from where we started, basically. And let me make sure everything's in focus. The fire ring tub right here, that is the centerpiece, focal point. That is where I'm taking this design from. That is where really I was getting my ideas for this. I was intrigued with Paradise Gardens and how they are made. I am doing my own version. So I'm going to do the 4 quadrants. I'm going to try and plant them kind of not symmetrically but similarly for some symmetry in the garden. And like I said, I'm going to have pathways coming from the 4 quadrants, or from the 4 areas of my centerpiece. And then it'll just kind of give me some structure back here. It's been a very wild, unstructured area. Though beautiful, it's just I want something a little more, like I said, structured. Now I have some boxwoods right over there growing along that gravel path. And I don't know if you saw on my blog, I have a post on how you take cuttings to root boxwoods, because I want a ton, and if I would have to buy them at the garden center or store, it would be cost prohibitive. So I don't have a lot of money to spend. I want to do this on a budget, so I am rooting. It'll take me a little bit longer, probably 3 years to get a decent hedge, but I am okay with that, because everything is a process, and I may decide I don't like them or they don't hold up well. These get kind of smushed in the snow. We get heavy, wet snows, and it really can do a number on them. I'm hoping that they get strengthened. These here take a little while longer to get going because they don't get a lot of sun in the summer. That's going to change. We're going to have a lot of trees taken down around our house. They're being taken down for fire safety because of all the wildfires that have been so bad in California, and the trees are compromised. They have had bugs eating them, and they are a huge fire hazard. So they are coming out, which is fine with me because I will get more sun back here and I can do even more. So basically that's kind of my plan. And right now the garden is looking pretty scruffy. The chickens have been out here scratching and eating. I've got piles of plant debris I've been pulling up. And basically it is just what it looks like before winter hits. Normally, quite a few of the months of this winter, this would be covered with snow, so it doesn't really matter. I do want a lot more evergreen things in here, like the boxwoods, to provide winter interest. I like having green in the garden, even in the winter when there isn't any snow covering it, of course. So also another plan of mine is to have a lot of pollinator plants back here. And there is a beehive, a honeybee hive in a tree close to us, and I get a lot of honeybees and other types of great pollinators. I'm also putting in butterfly host plants. So I'm going to have butterflies, beneficial insects, all kinds of fun stuff in this back area. Here's one last angle. This is, I'm back by the back deck looking towards the garden, and I really wanted to just give you a good 360-degree view of all of the garden here. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the boxwoods along the pathway in the quadrants or exactly how I'm going to do that, but I know I kind of wanted a geometrical type, almost like a parterre. I may line the sidewalks or the pathways with a creeping thyme or a low-growing plant. I also have Scotch moss and other things that do really well. So we'll see in the long run what happens. So there you have it, the fall view 2019 of the beginnings of the new secret garden.